Hello everybody and welcome back to Space Engineers. Unless you've been living under a rock, there's been a major update to this game. It's called Apex Survival, which has come with a whole fancy new set of features, changes to the game, an entire food system, many exciting things. I was part of the early access to basically be able to play it and play the game. If you haven't seen that, there's a video on my channel as well as on a couple of other content creators' channels. But along with that, along with doing that with Keen Software House, I was given three keys to the new DLC to the game, so the Apex DLC. And that is what I'm going to be showing off in today's video, as well as how you can enter to win that key for free. So I'm not going to be talking about all the fancy new features to the game. That's been, made clear very, very much. So yeah, I'll just show what you're going to get if you enter into this thing. I actually don't know what the word is. Anyway, so starting off, we have the new conduit blocks. They come in a range of different ones, from a nice straight one, a damaged one, a straight one with a control panel on them, a straight one with a light on the panel instead, a L one, a corner, little edge one, big edge one, couple of angled ones, and a fancy sort of end cap one with a load of different boxes that go on. And when you sort of add it all together, as you can see, you get a, this is only taking me a couple of seconds, but a fancy wall. Obviously, if I wanted to, I could paint these. So, you can make them different colours if you want to. So this could be the red route there, the blue gets connected there, and there. Red goes to that bit there, and then we got a green, which is that bit up there. So as you can see, it's all very nicely colourable, and just, looks cool, and there's many, many details on all the different bits. They've done a good job. Obviously, the damaged one, if you didn't want all the sparks, you can just toggle the block off, which stops the sparks from happening, which is kind of nice depending on how you want it to look, because you may want this to be in a sort of broken dungeon somewhere deep underground, some vault somewhere, and you may not want power, so you may not want it to be sparking like that. But yeah, these are the conduit blocks. Very, very nice. Here we have got a selection of new storage bins. Yes, I'm going to forget what the names are, so bear with me. So these are the new, there's three variants of the storage bins. We've got the stack of 3, which gives you, by default, 1,500 litres of space. You've got the smallest one, which gives you 500, which makes sense because, it's 3 times bigger than that one. And then this one has, 8, so it should have about 4,000, yeah. Very nice. And if you integrate them with all the other ones, from the barrels and the crates, the freight crates, and then a couple of boxes, you can really end up with quite a nice, just, stack of stuff. As well as, you've also got the big boy crate. But yeah, you can end up with quite a nice stack of stuff, and that's really cool. I really like that. And again, you can obviously paint them all. You'll be able to paint all these ones. Paint. There you go. So let's go with a yellow. There you go. And it's quite nice. Nice sort of material canvasy looking bags. Yeah, just if you're not aware of how Keen Software House do their DLCs, you'll never find anything in a DLC which is about the sort of content of the game, in the sense of it's never going to make you... It's not paid to win. All these DLCs do is add alternative blocks and just unique blocks for decoration purposes. That's kind of the main gist. And that sort of shows off in here. So these are the current vanilla blocks in the game. You've got the drill, the weld, and the grinder. Now, we now have version 2 or type 2 versions of each one of these. So as you can see, the drill, the welder, and the grinder. And they have the exact same size as each other, they have the exact same conveyor layouts, and they just look different, look cooler, look more sort of updated with what the current version of a game is, because these blocks, they're old. They've been, I think, slightly tweaked, but they're old compared to, you know, a lot of the newer stuff. You'll see there's a lot more detail on all these bits and pieces. However, and I do have to make this very clear, and I'm sorry to let you know, but if you really, really missed the upside down control panel on this welder, well, you're not going to be very happy because it's now the right way up. Don't ask me why it's upside down, but it is in this direction where this one's updated. The rest of them are the exact same way. You know, they're all the right way up. Those ones are sideways. Same with those, and that way is the same as that. Just the only difference is this one, that one, and that on that side. Don't get too upset. And then we have the drills, which are, you know, very, very fancy. Yeah, so this is a drill. You'll see here lots of much detail, lots of cool parts. See, I've always been interested in. I wonder if they could make it so this whole thing sort of moves. Maybe that's a sort of SE2 kind of thing, but it kind of looks like this whole thing could either retract in or the whole head could just tilt. But it is definitely a nice block, and from the looks of it, you want to sort of use it this way because you want it. Actually, how would you want it? You probably want it actually that way because you want it to sort of scoop into the ground. Or do you want it that way where it's sort of scooping up and flinging it into the... I'm guessing that way, based on that's the side of the logo. I don't know. To each their own, do it your way. But it also, of course, integrates... Shush, you're loud. All the small variants, which is, you know, the exact same writing as all that. The DRLO for Drill 0, I guess. I think the welder has the same thing on it, maybe? Yes. The weldo. And the grindo. Yes, very nice. And again, these all just have the same as what you think would be. Same range on the welders and grinders. They're just a different skin, basically, on them. And again, the small blocks are the exact same. Again, you could really imagine these pistons just being able to lift that sort of grinding wheel and move them. And this being on like an actual sort of robotic arm. The welder being able to sort of tilt, twist, rotate. It is technically upside down. This should really be... let's see. It should be this way, I think. Is it this way or this way? Don't know. This way. Yes, based on that's how that's set. But yeah, overall, look nice. Really, really like them. We have got a new algae farm. So the algae farm, if you again not 100 or not familiar with the DLC, the algae farm has a block which looks a little bit like this. So this is a default algae farm. And you may go, that's familiar looking. Yes, it's very similar to the oxygen farm. So if I go for the oxygen farm here, you'll see very similar in terms of designs. Now the algae farm uses light and slowly produces algae over time, in which you can use the food processor and get kelp crisps. Now I'm not going to go in any more detail on that, but unless you really want me to. But yeah, level of efficiency is based on how much sunlight it's got, and it basically predicts when it's got its next output, the same way that the oxygen generator produces oxygen over time based on light. So these two blocks here, this is the oxygen farm and this one is the algae farm, is basically just a half block version of it. It's the exact same efficiency as one of those, it's just in a different shape, and as you can see, it has actually produced some algae over the time that this world has been active. But yeah, again, they look really cool. They have the exact same block information. It's just a different looking block. And then over here we have got a, whatever it is, terrarium desert. As you see here, we've got some bugs crawling through. We've got a butterfly, a cactus, some bugs falling out the middle of nowhere, another little bug over there. yeah, it just looks nice. You know, they're not insanely detailed, but you know, they're going to be sort of performance efficient. And then over here we have got the Terrarium Forest. Again, just some butterflies, nice and green. A lovely little snail. As you see, look at him go. But yeah, overall, again, just a really nice sort of block, which adds to the aquarium. So now we have 3 different blocks. You know, they just insert ones, but overall, they still look really, really nice. I do like them. I do really, really like them. Tops are just, you know, the plain. Bottoms are the exact same. It's just, yeah, nice, simple blocks. And then the final set of stuff, we have got an insert planter. Now, as far as I'm aware, this planter is a purely decorative block. You can't grow in this planter or that. You've got to use the other planter blocks in order to be able to do that. But it's got a really nice sort of terminal on the side here. You can sort of see some bars of gauges, a load of little buttons. Yeah, just lots of panels, and then a compressed oxygen, warning, high pressure oxygen gas. Something, I actually don't know what the rest of that says. Let's have a look. Compressed oxygen, warning, high pressure oxide gas. Vigorously accelerates combustion. Can be careful when handling. Keep oil and gases away. Open the valve slowly. Use only with equipment cleaned for oxygen service and rated for cylinder pressure. Close valve after each use and when empty. Now, I don't actually know which valve it is referring to here. I don't see any valves. Maybe there's a valve in here. Any valves? No valves in there. Okay. Either way, though, it's just a cool looking block. And the fact that it's just slowly spinning. As if by magic, because I don't actually know what it's spinning on. Ooh, we're fully in the nitty gritty of this block now. Yeah, it's just a cool looking block. And then we've got the new survival kit. Yes, this is another fancy block. Again, they're really good with just making things look detailed. So yeah, this is just a Type 2 survival, well, medical bay. Survival kit, whatever you want to call it. Yeah, survival kit. So it has the same screen where you can get all your stuff. You've got an inventory screen where you can top up. The main difference with this one compared to the others is you have a large port on the top and on the bottom, I believe. I'm just going to make sure that I'm not lying to you. Yes, it's on the bottom and on the top. And then with the small grid, you have 2 small on the top and 1 large on the bottom. There's nothing on any of the sides. This is what the small one looks like. Again, works as you normally would expect. You can access it from the bottom there. And then yeah, it's just a nice detailed block. I like it. And then with the update, obviously we have radiation, the storms, and global food system. So we've got some signage to, or warning signs, or whatever you want to call them, to go along with them. So there's the large grid versions and the small grid as well. Which, again, just really nice. Adds so much detail just to builds and bases, just being able to have that kind of thing. And then we have, last but not least, and probably my favourite part of this update DLC side, is the new ore detectors. Now, again, they have the exact same range and everything as the standard one. However, this one spins. Need I say more? Need I say more? Yes, this one spins. It looks lovely. If I turn it off, it slowly stops. And if I turn it back on, it starts to spin again. And again, the small one also does the spinny spinnies. And again, nicely comes to a stop and starts up again. Lovely. I do definitely prefer this one over that one. This one almost looks like a sort of radio tower, which I really like. I'm sure people are going to use these types of blocks to do a lot of cool things. But that is the main, that's all of the blocks in this DLC. Now, like I said at the start of this video, and probably what a lot of you have been waiting for, how do I get my hands on it without having to pay for it? Yes. So, I will, if you look in the description and probably the first pinned comment down below, there will be a link to a Google Docs or wherever where you can submit your username, so Steam name, and as well as your email. And you can do just, one per person. And in about a week's time, so I'll give you a good amount of time for the video to sort of go live and people to apply to do it, I will do another video where I basically just random number generator or random pick 3 people to win the keys. So good luck to all of you. Thank you so much, Keen, for giving me the honor of being able to do this kind of thing. But yeah, good luck getting these free DLCs. My name's been Quantum Chief, and I'll see you all in the next video. Bye!